We're doing a campaign to raise the minimum wage in New Zealand from its current $9.50 to $12, and the minimum wage for youth from $7.60 up to $12 also. So we want to get rid of youth rates. We believe that people who do equal work should get equal pay, and we also believe that people should have secure hours. So we need to go down Simon Street. What's happening today is we're having the world's first Starbucks strike. So we've got workers who have been pulled out of several stores. At the moment they're being bullied by a manager. They've been told if they go on strike for more than an hour that it will be an abandonment of shift, which is complete bollocks.
This is the summer we get rid of youth rates in this industry and set an example to every other industry that youth rates, the fairness of a job is not based on age. It used to be on gender, remember, for some of us, and the age is the last discrimination. And the companies cannot win this in the public arena. They cannot win it.
It's an extremely significant strike. It actually represents a reunionisation of the fast food industry. For a long years, a lot of people have been saying you couldn't reunionise this job, the jobs here. But they've been done, and then you're going to keep on being done. You're going to get the support of the community. You're going to get the support by the unions.
Oh, I'm stoked. Finally some changes being made, and I'm glad that I was the first one to do it because something had to happen.
We're striking for $12 minimum wage, which is totally acceptable given the work conditions that we have to work in every day.
Overworked and underpaid, man. Overworked and underpaid. I'm worth more than what I'm getting. I know it.
How's it going? Don't the guys want to come out now? They all came here. Program. Just pull them. Let's go. What they do is they send the area managers in, and it puts all the pressure on all of them, and they don't want to come out anymore.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
What we want to do is we want to have next week we're going to have a Pizza Hut strike, but we want to use all these other people's strikes to bring you guys out so that you guys can go through the motions of doing a strike, because strikes are legal, right? You can't get in trouble for it. Just remember, even if there's only 5 of you and you go on strike, you can have a really big effect if you do it at the right time when no one knows. So even if you don't have 100 people supporting you, if it's at the right time, it'll still have an effect.
And don't worry about the boss. We handle the bosses. You guys do your stuff.
Don't let John bully you around, man. Don't let John bully you. Yes. Intimidation of workers. Don't let John intimidate you guys. You've got a right to strike.
Without getting fired.
Someone was told that if they went on strike, they'd ruin their chances of becoming shift supervisor.
She can't get a warning for going on strike. Do you guys want to go back in and say that?
That it's a Pizza Hut strike, and that we're not allowed to go on strike because if one brand follows another, then we'll get disciplinary action taken against us.
We've got an argument with that company. So what we're trying to do is get Starbucks, KFC and Pizza Hut people to support each other, which they can legally do for the collective contract, because it's one big collective that we're arguing for. So John has lied to you, and he's tried to bully you as well. So good on you, Sam, for coming out.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
I'm only getting $7.65, which is pretty bad.
Everybody wants their pay to rise. We do hard work to make customers happy, to make our bosses happy. They should also make our pay rise.
Max Supreme. Well, playing tomorrow.
The large international and global companies are basically ripping them off, and I think we need to be their message to go for $12 an hour as a minimum wage across the country is a very good one.
Tanzan. And where do you work? KFC Lincoln Road. And how much do you get paid an hour? $7.15. How old are you? 15. And how much did you work last week? 22 hours and I got $77. How'd you feel about that? I was gutted.
Talofa lava, Pacific greetings. My name is Mua Strixon-Pua. I wish to open with a poem called She. She works her hands on a factory floor. Sweat pours down her body, airtight suffocation, clock in, clock out. Spasmodic moments of freedom, wage packet, the goals of survival. There are children to feed, there's rent to pay for a roof, electricity switched on and off, her church choir echoes, family whono on Wednesday, Auntie Lisa's funeral, her nephew's wedding, second cousin Joe's facing court again, Ioane wants a guaranteer, Talosanga beats his wife, drinks to escape the pain, the children come unstuck on glue, Samoa House project back home calls, hire purchase on the car rolls around, Samoa there, New Zealand here. She is caught in between, she. As the Pacific communities, we are very concerned about the issues that have been raised at hand. And once again, as a church, we see it very important to be involved in this social justice issue, bottom line.
The low rates say that we don't value these young people. They're exploitable, they're expendable, and the other side effect of that is that often promotes quite a thuggish bullying culture in the workplace, and the kids talk about this. Often the workplace is managed by threats, intimidation, harassment.
The challenge is for the community to get behind low-paid workers and to turn the community concern into effective political pressure to get change now.
Finally, for any society, to have poverty is unacceptable. But to live in a developed country that has poverty is not only shameful, it is a reflection of that society's lack of respect, lack of consideration and compassion and responsibility to our most vulnerable.
Now, with these guys, we're working in KFC for a year and they're now 17 and they're a shift supervisor. What the company's offering is that they would automatically go on the adult rate. At the moment they don't do that. So that's actually a significant pay rise for those people, but it's still obviously below the claim that we have. And what they've also agreed is that within the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, they will get rid of youth rates from all of their stores.
If you vote to accept the offer today, we can go and sign it up tomorrow. The company will be delighted. This won't all be done in 1 year, it can't be. The generations which have come before you didn't have the ability to fight, and that's why you're on the wages you are now.
We'll just open the floor up for anyone to discuss. It's very important that you guys discuss amongst yourselves the company's offer and you ask any questions, because once we've finished this discussion, you're all going to, on a piece of paper, you're going to sign whether or not you want to agree or disagree. It'll be a secret ballot, so no one's going to know what you've done, and then afterwards we'll get someone to quickly go through it and find out what the vote has been.
So we got 50 out of 50, so let's all go on strike! Yeah!
Give me an N! N! Give me an I! I! Give me an O! O! Give me an N! N! What's that spell? Union! Who are we? Union!
If you guys bring out a new, hold it out. If you guys come out all together.
My sister-in-law usually looks after the kids and she takes care of the kids while I'm at work most of the time. And I pay all the bills and all the hours I get, I really appreciate it. Like today I'm meant to start at 12, but they called me and to start at 9:30. They know I would say yes because I'll do it for the extra hours.
Okay, Susan, can you just tell me what's just happened?
I got a text message last night by a manager if I could start at 9:30. I said, yep, okay, I'll do it. I need the extra hours to support my family. She said, okay, I'll see you at 9:30. I've now walked in and told to leave. They've got someone else in here covering. So you're very disappointed. Now I've got to go all the way back home and come back at 12.
Message for everybody. You want to know how successful the strike has been? They've had to get people to come in on buses to get free chicken because they can't get rid of it. Union! Union! On strike!
You're listening to Mania Core on Basic FM.
I love Supreme. I love Supreme. I love Supreme. I love Supreme. Rebecca Supreme. I love Supreme. SupersizeMyPay. Rebecca Supreme. I love Supreme. At the Auckland Town Hall. Yeah, yes, y'all. This is my style. I've been from far away for too long. Now I'm back in Auckland, doing it strong with Man King. Homeboy holding the beatbox, the bomb is. Yes, atomic the way we do it, and got that melodic and sounds fluid with my alley plays it, but that's alright. Yo, I'm not getting paid shit for tonight, but hey, probably because it's not really the way that they want to do it in the city of this country. It's kind of silly, man. On Base FM, we got to change the whole world, and this is what we do in this business.
The issue is about you have been rostered off to prevent you to attend the meeting on Sunday. They claim that's not the case, and that you are very, very unhappy about it, and some of you were wanting to show your disgust by saying you won't be intimidated by it. So sending out a letter to me saying they will sue you. I put out a press release and talked to a number of media already and said we're not a slave-owning society just yet where you get forced to work.
That's the type of company we're dealing with. They've dragged their heels, they've tried every trick in the book, and now they're threatening workers on the minimum wage with taking them to court for damages. What sort of animals are they?
You can go back to work, right? You can take an early lunch break, or you can say, well, we are out the door.
What made you decide to come out today?
Well, I mean, one of the girls from KFC, she was like, she made it seem so real. So like, if she can do it, why can't we? I mean, we've got the union behind us, and they can't touch, McDonald's can't touch us, so we're sweet. They've got our backs. It's good.
These workers have done incredibly well. The four major employers in the fast food industry, McDonald's, Restaurant Brands, Wendy's and Burger King, have now all agreed to hold union agreement talks on behalf of these workers this week.
Hi, and I'm just here to support the low-paid Pacific Island women. You know, I know how they feel because I mean I was in the same boat studying at uni, and I worked at KFC. That was my first job, and then I worked in the call centre. So yeah. I hope things change for everybody.
Put your hands together. These are real heroes of the SupersizeMyPay.com campaign. They're people get out on the front lines on strike, and they're going to be joined by hundreds more workers in the next few weeks.
Hey guys, I don't know how well this is going to go down because we've heard a lot of horror stories here today about managers treating their staff really unfairly, and I got to say that we have nothing like that going down in our store. You know, just because we don't have anything going on in our workplace, just because we're not being treated badly, doesn't mean that we can't rise up and ask for something. Doesn't mean that we're not entitled to what we're asking for, and I believe that is the reason why so many of our staff aren't here today. They do not believe that we are asking for something reasonable. They do not believe that they deserve it, because we are dealing with a culture of apathy in our workplaces, and it doesn't need to be like that. All we need to do is realize that what we are asking for is what we deserve, it's what our co-workers deserve. We just need to believe $12 an hour, we are worth it.
Thanks.
Be put off by this, guys. Alright, do not be put off by this. Okay, our union will probably get the brunt of it for saying we started a fire in front of bloody KFC. We'll just say that we were trying to cook their chicken.
You all can carry on here doing what you need to do, alright? But if you go back on their property, and I'll point out their property to you in a minute, you are then trespassing. I'm now formally warning you all that under the Trespass Act you are not to go back on their property. To do so will result in arrest. In respect of any of you who are under 17, don't be under the illusion that you're unarrestable, because you are.
Secret recipe all across this nation! Bigger than you green and exploitation!
I think the campaign's going fairly well. It was always going to run into trouble because the, fast food industry isn't used to having unions around. They aren't used to having to pay any attention to what their staff think.
I've been blocked from having a legal entry into the restaurant brand's call centre where we were going to be calling a strike at 6 o'clock, but the company has obstructed me from having my legal right of entry.
A few minutes ago we went up there and spoke to them about Simon and said that he might be coming up, and they said that that would be trespass and letting him onto the premises would be illegal. And so I interpreted that as a threat towards the union delegates as well as towards Simon.
So what's going to happen now?
Well, we go back up, and if we're lucky we will call everybody out on strike.
To watch them pull the number 3. Father Brian punches the chief of police. Not a bad method for a priest. In struggle to hear the battle is fought between the walls. Broken bottles, locked doors.
Well, great minds sure think alike. Everyone has decided to call us at the same time. So hang in there, we'll be with you real soon.
Auckland Restaurant Brand's national call centre staff also stopped work in aid of the cause. The strike was part of the SupersizeMyPay campaign.
Someone said in the car that called me and said, am I going to be able to get my pizza tonight? I said, have you ordered Harris pizza?
The call centre mainly deals with Pizza Hut orders, and calls had to be diverted to the restaurants themselves, causing delays.
People, can't you hear me?
Okay, so what were those papers you just handed over?
Papers to sue them, to make it fair for all of us.
Everybody wants to see me fall. People, can't you hear me? Call.
Okay, I'm proud to support my crew. They work hard on my shifts. They do everything that I ask them to do, and I think they deserve everything that they should get. I decided to come off the floor. I went to turn around and my crew was following me.
Instead of letting these companies dictate to you, you need to take control. And working class people in New Zealand, I must commend you. You work so hard. The problem here, these companies have come into New Zealand and exploited the working class. Their mission statement is to introduce us to poverty, to make us poor. $12 an hour, a living wage that people can live on.
No meeting, no. I mean, I've seen a lot of people lose their cool in the past, but this was way off the planet. Someone, one of our people, just standing there filming. And
I was mainly filming Matt. They came from the other direction. Matt was saying, we've got a camera operator here. We know we can't go in, but she's just filming us.
He walked out without saying a word, straight across, grabbed hold of the camera, ripped it out of her hand, cut her finger.
A big guy, I believe he's one of the bosses, just walked straight up to me and just dragged the camera out of my hand. As you can see, I've got the headphones attached, so I went with it. It was, and he damaged my finger on the way.
And then marched back into his office, and we followed him in there, and we said, we want the camera back, and we said, well, Tony, there's no meeting unless we get the camera.
Fortunately, the camera wasn't damaged, although he did take the film from out of the camera. So I guess that shows a certain, what's the word, tension.
It represents a company feeling under real pressure, and that's a good thing, because it's ordinary people. All we want is a fair deal.
Everyone's well behaved, and they just basically want to put their point across in the democratic way. Got no objections. It's good to see.
Hi, yes, my name's Simon, I'm from the Union. I've got a message for you guys. Oh, they hang up on me. Awesome.
is Melissa and Rachel, and they're from Green Bay. I think youth rates suck because I work at McDonald's, get $6.20 an hour. I have to slave my ass off for shit all money and I'm sick of it. Hey guys, I'm Sarah from City College. This morning on the radio, they tried to discredit us. They said we were here to get out of school. They said this was truancy. This is not truancy, this is activism. It's so great to see so many young people here. It's so great. This great sick. I'm so glad everyone's finally standing up to corporate greed and exploitation.
The owners of KFC, Pizza Hut and Starbucks buckled under union pressure and signed a new deal. Jeanette Thomas has the details.
Hundreds of young people marched down Queen Street, protesting against low pay. 5 days later, it looks like it was all worth it.
We've been negotiating for 5 months after the student strike on Monday night. We went into negotiation for the first time the company had ever made an offer on youth rates.
Restaurant brands employ 5,000 workers, 500 of whom are aged under 18. They've presented a proposal to union members that'll see youth staff now paid 90% of the adult minimum wage, up from the current 80%. Supervisors under 18 will now be paid the same as adult employees.
Well, I think it's like really good for now because I've gone from 7:13 to 9:22. So I think it's like really good for now, but I feel bad taking it because the adults that helped us to join the union, they're not getting anything. And so me accepting the offer means they can't strike anymore for more for what they want.
Campaign's not over, you know. Even though we know we're not allowed to strike, we will support McDonald's and every other fast food workers if we're available with their campaign. So it's not over.
I was raised in the street, had religion in my system, I was poisoned in my sleep. Look at me now. Did you ever see a higher step, a cooler looking man to equal mine? Look at me now. Did you ever see a higher step, a cooler looking man to equal mine? Well, the factory was my future and the ghetto was my grave. Don't ask no exceptions when you tell me to behave.
In a country with the highest suicide rate in the world, this is what they're doing to our young people. If they don't fight back now, what future are they going to have? Because you're dealing with big multinational corporates.
Never had young people out on a May Day like this ever before, and it's a sign of the times. Things are moving in New Zealand, finally in the right direction.
Well, I was around a long time ago when we had a lot of young people out on the streets of Auckland, but we haven't seen this for a long time now. This is a much more energetic, lively and youthful May Day than I've seen for a long time, and I think it's just absolutely fantastic.
And how
How do you feel as a parent out today watching all these young people?
Well, I've got two of my boys out here, and I'm really proud of them being here. And they're here because they see the importance of the issue and the fact that people working together can make a real change. So I'm off to join them. See ya.
I think I'm gonna make it this time.
Yes, welcome to the programme this Tuesday morning when we'll be taking a closer look at some major developments in youth wages.
McDonald's has just announced it is scrapping youth rates altogether. Joining us to discuss this move is McDonald's New Zealand country manager, Mark Hawthorne, and long-time campaigner against youth rates, Matt McCartan from the Unite Union. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Paul.
You two would have been enemies, wouldn't you, up until this announcement, Matt?
Matt? Adversaries.
Adversaries. McDonald's have made this formal announcement now, which obviously you're pleased about. You expect that all other employers are going to fall into.
Well, I know that they are. They're realising the game's up.
Where do you take? I mean, you're going to have to paint the placards out now. Where do you take the next fight, Matt?
Well, they're still paying the minimum wage, of course, and so we're going to have a discussion about that in March too.
Well, the relationship between you two's definitely improved a bit, hasn't it?
Oh, it's strong. I think it's always been strong. But I think it's important to note that McDonald's really haven't rolled over on this. We've been looking at strategies to continue to be the best employer, but also to resolve our issues of finding staff.
All right. Mark Hawthorne, Matt McCartan, thank you both very much.
Thank you for having us, Paul.
Okay.
I noticed with McDonald's is they weren't saying it was the campaign and it's full employment. Yeah, right. So McDonald's is now doing its announcement today, get their market advantage. I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me. They want to kind of thing, as long as the job's done, eh? All right. Cool.